an explosion in pirated TV shows and movies. I'm Christopher Stewart, and I'm here today with Rick Cotton, NBC Universal's General Counsel and head of the company's Antipiracy unit. Mr. Cotton, welcome.
Chris, it's a pleasure to be here.
So today, there's a lot of talk about media going through its Napster moment. What exactly does that mean, and how much of a threat is piracy to the media companies?
Well, let me take a big step back, Chris. Today's media environment is dominated by change as the result of digital technology and the broadband internet. So what you see today is media companies of all sizes trying to take advantage of the enormous distribution capabilities that the internet makes available, looking for ways to bring creative content to consumers how, where, and when they want it. The challenge that we face as those new business models try to plant seeds and grow is that they are being assaulted and undercut by a tidal wave of stolen content that's being offered by websites that are operating on an illegal basis. So the challenge for the media industry and for the media companies, for creators, for artists of all kind, is to enable new business forms to emerge and not to be choked off early by this threat from stolen content.
Now, how big a threat is it? Is there any way to sort of quantify exactly, how meaningful this threat is to the media companies?
Well, thieves and pirates don't file income tax returns, so it's hard to quantify. But last year, one of the major enterprises that study traffic on the internet estimated that 30% of the broadband internet capacity in Europe and Asia was devoted to carrying infringing content, and that 15% of the broadband internet in the US was devoted to that. If you look at the Pirate Bay, which is one of the leading pirate sites, that site has more traffic to it and more unique users than virtually any entertainment site, legitimate entertainment site globally. So what we face is something that's really quite unique, which is where bad sites that are devoted to infringing content are winding up being enabled in terms of the internet to attract more traffic than what are these new, incipient, but very critical new ways of making content legitimately available to consumers.
Now, media companies last year came together to push forward a bill, Stop the Online Piracy Act. It failed in January. What sort of things have media companies been doing in the wake of that clash?
Well, I think the thought process here is that you have to look at the broadband internet as an ecosystem. And its promise is enormous. As I said, creative companies, creative artists, creative producers are looking for ways to distribute their content to consumers in more attractive ways. But what we need is to work in partnership with the sectors that actually manage and create the ecosystem of the internet, so that together we wind up with the technology, with the ecosystem itself being one that's safe and secure for consumers, where they don't face not only the threat of malware and spyware and cybersecurity threats, but they also we don't have collectively as a society a set of sites that are devoted to illegal activities which undercut the economic virtues and the economic strength that our creative businesses bring to our economy.
Who else is involved in these conversations outside of the media companies?
Well, I think you can make quite a list, Chris, which is look at video sharing sites like YouTube. YouTube now has a content recognition system that won't allow copyrighted content to be uploaded onto YouTube unless it's been licensed. So they've stepped forward and recognized that this is an issue that they have to address. If you look at the major ISPs in the United States, they will be starting this month a copyright alert system where they will forward notices to internet users who are inappropriately uploading or downloading content and identifying to them that that is an inappropriate activity. 18 months ago, the White House brokered an agreement with credit card companies where the companies agreed to set up a system so that they weren't doing business with sites which are illegally distributing either counterfeit goods or stolen TV shows or stolen film content. There are conversations going on with ad networks. There need to be more conversations going on with search engines. So all of these participants in the broadband internet have it within their capabilities to be clear that, first of all, they shouldn't be in business with sites that are dedicated to illegal activity, and they also should be informing and helping internet users to access new, legitimate sources of creative content and not going and interacting with illegal sites.
Now you have an anti-piracy unit based out in LA, and you've been ramping up that the unit for the last couple of years. Can you talk a little bit about what the unit's been up to?
Well, absolutely. It has been engaging with these other participants in the broadband internet to, first of all, to assure that as NBC Universal and the creative partners that we work with, as we develop ways to make content more easily available to consumers, it doesn't face the inappropriate threat from stolen content. I'll give you a specific example, which is the Olympics. So take the London Olympics. Our sports unit, Olympics unit, made the decision to make every single event at the Olympics available online on NBC, on NBCOlympics.com. What we didn't want to happen was for that video to be on illegal sites. And so our anti-piracy technologists and our anti-piracy unit worked very hard in cooperation with the International Olympic Committee to assure that through use of filters and through use of monitoring of the internet, that we took down illegal video, and that sites that, like YouTube, other video sharing sites, had filters in operation to prevent unauthorized video from being uploaded to sites that were not licensed for Olympic content.
Mm-hmm. Now, some of the criticism in terms of media companies when it comes to piracy is that piracy is in some way, it grows because of the slowness with which media companies have moved their own content online. Is that something that you consider when you're building out your anti-piracy plans?
Well, absolutely. The prohibition doesn't work, but it's also not what media companies are about. It's not what the creative community is about. It's not what the creative industries of the United States are about. Everyone is seeking to use the capabilities of the broadband internet to make content more easily available. But you can't do that if what you have at the same time is a tidal wave of illegal content.
What's the ultimate goal here? Is it to absolutely stamp out piracy, or is it just to reduce it significantly?
Well, I mean, the answer is piracy will never disappear. There are always going to be rogue digital copies. There are always going to be criminals. I mean, it's the same. The fact is that most of the sites that are operated globally and delivering either counterfeit physical goods or unauthorized digital content are actually organized crime today. Crime hasn't disappeared from the physical world. It's not going to disappear from the virtual world. So the goal here is to reduce what at this point is an uncontrolled illegal access to counterfeit goods and to stolen film and movies, stolen film and stolen TV shows, as well as electronic books, as well as music, as well as sports programs, to reduce that down to where the new business models can flourish. It will never go away, but what we need to do is reduce it.
Mr. Cotton, thanks for joining us today.